Hello, beautiful Pisceans. This is Karen, the Forest Empress, and I am here with your reading for the first 2 weeks of June 2017. I have pulled a very beautiful spread for you, and then we will pull a Power Animal Oracle card to tie everything together at the end. So the underlying energy, which we have at the bottom of the deck, is actually the Wheel of Fortune upright. This is a great indicator to take a chance on something. The wheel is turning in your favor, but this isn't something that just came about. This is something that you have been maybe waiting for a really long time. Your skills, the proper preparation, and the right opportunities have brought you to where you are right now, which is what this wheel indicates when it turns in your favor. You're going to reap the benefits of all your hard work. And actually, it was so funny, and this is kind of an added thing that I just noticed. As I picked up this deck to show this to you, there was just one card sitting there, and it was the Chariot. So I wonder if this means that it is going to happen fairly quickly. So you might want, if you're not prepared, you might want to get prepared for whatever this is, because it looks like some good luck is really headed your way in these first 2 weeks of June, which is wonderful to hear. I'm also a Pisces, so this makes me very happy. Now, let's get into your spread, because the first card that we have here is the past and the influence the past is having as we go from May into the beginning of June. We actually have the 10 of Pentacles in reverse. There could have been something that had made you feel vulnerable, or maybe as you're coming from May into June, you are feeling vulnerable in some certain situation. Now, when we're vulnerable, we tend to try to overprotect ourselves, to keep ourselves safe and to avoid our hearts from getting broken. Pisces are very, very sensitive. We get hurt very easily by the smallest things that most people wouldn't think would hurt our feelings, but it does. And so we have these methods of protecting ourselves that we've accrued over our lifetimes, and they're different for each Pisces, but we kind of need to do it in order to save our emotions, and protect our emotions rather. However, if you protect yourself too much, you become kind of remote emotionally from everybody else. So you don't want to do it where you're pushing people away. And just, this is really hard advice for myself to even take as a Pisces, but I do have to give it because this card is coming up. Now, don't worry about what other people think. Can be really hard, especially when you're very intuitive and you kind of are good at reading people and you kind of have an idea about what people think or are saying about you. To be so self-aware that way, it can be very hard to not let those things affect you, but you really need to get a kind of thicker skin and block it out in this situation. Because this is the 10 of Pentacles, this does have to do with kind of like family and foundation. So this could be about work. It could be about a love reading. It's going to be different for every person who watches this because it's a general reading, but there could be something going on for a lot of you that has to do with your family. So maybe you had to emotionally shut down from a situation within your family because it was hurting you too much. And so you had to, figure out a way to protect yourself. And then that would come in where you need to stop worrying about what these people think. Maybe if it is your family, maybe you only see them at Christmas or maybe one other time a year. And so maybe try not to let it affect you the other times and then just worry about it when you have to go see them, I guess. But if this is not about family, this could also indicate that, you could feel very secure in one area of your life and not feel secure in another. So maybe you feel financially secure, but you don't feel secure within your relationship, or vice versa. And maybe focus on, in the area that you do feel secure, how and why do you feel secure in that way? And maybe you can apply those attributes to the area that is maybe not as secure. Now, the obstacle in your path is actually the High Priestess coming up upright. This is a beautiful card. It's interesting that it would show up for an obstacle for Pisces because Pisces are so intuitive, and this is what the High Priestess is all about. There could be some kind of secret that will be revealed, and it could cause an obstacle for you. It could be your own secret. It could be a secret of someone else that directly affects you in some way. But because it's showing up in the obstacle position, it does mean that it's going to be kind of a little bit of a hinder to you in some way. Whatever this is, you need to rely on your intuition. The High Priestess says for us to maybe not censor ourselves as much as we would normally in this situation. But whatever this is, deep down, you know the answer to it. So you know how to overcome this obstacle when it comes up, whatever this secret is that is coming out. Now, what you have working in your favor is actually the Five of Wands in reverse. This can indicate that there could be some kind of misunderstanding, but as long as you are not too meek or fearful of change, and you don't jump to conclusions about whatever it is, and it could be in regards to the secret coming out, that's where it's going to actually be in your favor. So you need to kind of, again, get a little bit of a thicker skin. Don't take things personally. If the secret does not directly affect you, but you're hearing about it and then it keeps coming up, or it's affecting people around you or something, like, as much as you can, try not to make it about you. Try to make it about what is this information that's coming out and how can we deal with it in the most diplomatic manner, I guess. This card also says, in some situations, it's not who is right, it's rather what is right. So that kind of comes with taking things a little too personally. And it's funny that it shows up in an influence working in your favor. Maybe there is a need for you to stand up for yourself in this situation, and that's how it's going to work out in your favor. Maybe this is something that's been brewing for a while, and Pisces like to kind of get back from stuff and maybe not want to deal with it right away, or maybe not want to get involved. And maybe it could actually incite some kind of strength within yourself to actually stand up and deal with whatever misunderstanding it is, and it'll actually, empower you in some way, and that's how it could show up as an influence. In some other interpretations of this card, there could be something going around, some information about you that is not true, and it could be really affecting you that you find out, and like, people actually think this and this is untrue, but the advice here is not to get angry and not to retaliate, because that is going to create an even more difficult and sticky situation. And maybe if it's not about you, it could be about someone very close to you. And Pisces can't, we tend to be kind of, go with the flow in some senses, but like, we kind of just we're mutable energies. So we're kind of just like, okay, like, this is happening and I'm just going to kind of observe and maybe try not to be involved so much. But there could, you could need to speak up in this situation. Now, what we have in the near future is we actually have the Two of Wands in reverse. This is kind of letting change happen naturally. Don't force anything. You might start to see things starting to come about. I mean, you did get a Ten of Pentacles here. You have the High Priestess. You have the beautiful Wheel of Fortune as your underlying energy. But, in the kind of first week of May, it could be very important to kind of stay out of your own way, get out of your own head. You could be over analyzing something. It could be in regards to maybe some information that you're hearing, and it could be really bothering you, but try to avoid blame and fault finding wherever you can. Don't try to force things, let things happen naturally. But yeah, but in the long-term future, we go from the Two of Wands in reverse to the Ace of Wands in reverse. So we're kind of going backwards a little bit here. Maybe you have to take a second look at some kind of creative endeavor that you've been working on. It might be a good time towards the second week of June to take a better look at it, because you might find something that you didn't find before that needs to get fixed. This card in the long-term future could also indicate, if you're looking at this in terms of a relationship, it could indicate a lack of intimacy in the relationship. So maybe that has to do with kind of the secret that we talked about earlier. One person in a relationship could be more in love than the other person. And if you're the one who is not as in love as the partner, or maybe, in a business partnership, since it is a wand, you could, maybe one person thinks the business relationship is working out, and that, but you're like, no, I'm doing all the work. Like, it's really not working out. And so that could be another instance where you would need to actually speak up. And instead of just being in your own head about it and imagining everything that you could say, maybe it's the time to actually speak up and say something about it. As you move into a new creative venture during this time, or if you are taking a second look at a creative venture that you've already been working on for a while, you need to guard against being too impulsive, too aggressive towards it, or towards it going in the direction you want. You kind of need to let things ease into how they're supposed to happen, but then also at the same time, you don't want to be too timid. So you need to have this kind of balance and just not have so much scattered energy, because if you have this energy scattered everywhere, then the focus doesn't know where to go. And then, it's harder to manifest your wishes and desires if you are not being very specific, if your energy is all scattered around. So there is a definite need for balance. If you feel like your brain is getting scattered, spend some time in nature, spend some time in or around water, especially for you Pisceans. I think that would really benefit you. And especially since here in the Northern Hemisphere, the weather is getting a lot nicer. You might try it, maybe go to a lake or the beach, or even if there's like a creek or something, just listen to that flowing water, or take a bath if you have no access to natural water. I really think it'll help you clear your head, because the underlying energy is having really good luck and having all these wonderful things that are due to you coming to you, but it seems like you are getting in your own way. And that's like, and I always make a mental note. I'm like, I need to be taking my own advice for this reading too. Now the eventual outcome is the Queen of Swords in reverse. Again, this is a woman who stands up for herself. Even though she's in the reverse position, it just kind of indicates that it's a little more, I guess, more on the shadowy side of it, I guess, when it's, this is saying the need for you to assert your independence in order to unblock your progress. So if there's a creative venture that's stuck and you keep looking at you don't know what needs to be fixed on it for it to be perfect, or, almost perfect, or good enough to turn in, or whatever, that is what needs to be unblocked here. So it does say that you might need to be speaking up for yourself in some context in order to do that. Make sure, if this is in regards to a relationship, make sure you are in a relationship for the right reasons, and you might need to do a personal assessment of that. And then you could see, because we had the idea of a relationship where one person's more in love than the other person. So again, that came up again. And then try not to be too cold. This woman is very cold. And this could be somebody that you're coming across that could be being cold to you. And so that would be not taking things too personally or having a little bit of a thicker skin. It could be an air sign that is coming through towards the end of the second week of June. Don't mask your true feelings. People need to know what you're feeling right now. But I think Pisces are pretty good, like, at not masking their feelings. Usually it's written all over their face how they feel in a lot of cases, unless you have some other, signs in your chart that prevent that from happening. You're lucky then. Now let's pull a Power Animal Oracle card so we can tie everything together. Eagle, Spirit, trust in your higher self. And that is such good advice for Pisces, because Pisces rule the 12th house. They are so spiritual. And so this Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor, and you just need to trust that it is happening. So whatever other kind of petty turmoil is going on, or misunderstandings, or people talking smack, or people being cold to you, or you're trying to gather all the information necessary to make the right decision about something, or deal with a relationship, or deal with what's going on with this work relationship or in work, or all these people chattering in the background, you need to just center yourself and balance yourself and get back into connection with spirit. And so use the eagle as the kind of inspiration for that in these 2 weeks of June. And trust in your higher self. Trust in your intuition. There's a reason why you are gifted with the best intuition in the whole zodiac. You need to use it because it's there to help you to your advantage. So the balance is there. You just need to find it. Thank you so much, Pisces, for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. I hope you have a wonderful first 2 weeks of June, and I look forward to seeing you at the end of June. Thanks. Bye.